With Stacy Sobel. I'm here with Andrew Ranson at the International Salon Spa Business Network, and you just gave a great presentation. It was really well received about technology-infused leadership, and you kind of gave a wake-up call to the audience about the importance of technology and understanding it. What's the warning if they don't do that?
Well, I think we're seeing it across industries. It's not just in industries that are fundamentally information-based. It's the technology changes that are happening exponentially. We're getting new technologies all the time. And the thing about these technologies is many of them are either free or very low cost to implement really a best-in-breed kind of solution. And so large organizations that have been around a while are now faced with having to figure out how do we continue to be nimble and stay on the edge of technology when our competitors are now smaller and younger and have a chance of coming after us. So I think the main theme of what I'm trying to get across is that leaders need to build their technology knowledge and skills. Just like in days gone by, they had to have some financial skills and be able to read a balance sheet. Now, in today's environment, as a leader, you've got to have some technology skills and knowledge to be able to lead your company strategically.
You talked about some things that are on the very near forefront, like the Google Glasses and the implants. Tell us a little bit about that and how maybe in a salon situation you could see that being employed.
Well, I think part of what that is you're talking about a wearable technology that's potentially always on. And so we're already there somewhat with mobile. And so things like location-based marketing, things like being able to know who your customer is when they walk through the door and be able to respond to them individually. I think in the near term, that's probably where salons need to be headed, is to gain a better understanding of their customers so they can leverage some of those real immediate kinds of interactions that are going to become possible, and to have the data available to respond intelligently when those things do start happening.
And could you explain kind of what the Google Glasses and the implants are for people who don't know?
Okay, so essentially,
how far out that is?
Yeah, well, Google Glasses have actually been released now in a small kind of a beta test of 1,500 people have them now. And what it is essentially it's a mobile device, but it's actually attached to a glasses device. It's voice activated, but they're starting to build software on top of it where even things like a wink could be read by that software and take a picture of whatever you're looking at. And so it's really it's always on video, but it's also a display screen that's present right there before your eyes. Now, what we see is, in terms of the reaction to it, it's kind of the poles. You know, we have some people who've tried it hate it because they feel like it's distracting. Other people love it because they feel like they have access to that immersive data all the time. So, you know, we're going to have that tension for a while, but that's really what Google Glass is about. And then when you're talking about implantables, at the moment, most of the implantable technology is used in medical applications where, like I talked about, you've got somebody with a prosthetic arm and it's digitally linked to a brain-computer interface that they can actually move that appendage. But if you combine those two things and you start thinking about where the technology is headed, you are starting to be in a what has been the realm of science fiction, where you have people who have access to all kinds of data immediately right in front of their eyes, invisibly, meaning that they're not having to look down at their device. It's just there. You know, they look up and to the left, and it links to their thought, and they can ask a question without typing anything, without saying anything. I mean, you start thinking about where this is heading, and it's both frightening and exciting.
You talked also a lot about developing your voice. You had a different term for it.
The organizational
voice. And talk about how that's important in this age of social media and having it.
It's critical. I think there is such a proliferation of messaging out there that it's critical that organizations have some parameters of consistency around what they put out, what they say, how they're perceived online connects with the essence of who they are as a brand, as a company, connects with what kind of care they're trying to show for their customers. And so without a concise and somewhat consistent organizational voice across media, it's going to be real easy to get diffuse and for that message to not really resonate because it gets lost in the noise.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Stacy.